King Von's mother just turned 50. And not only does this woman look like she could pass for somebody's college roommate, she went viral posting photos that Von would absolutely not have approved of. But here's what makes this whole thing layered. The same woman inherited King Von's masters when he passed, his entire music catalog. Every stream, every radio play, every licensing deal, she gets paid. Von made his mother rich for life before he left this earth. And on top of all of that, there's an unresolved situation with FBG Duck's mother that the internet has never fully unpacked. We're getting into every piece of it. Taysa Bennett is the mother of Da'Von Daquan Bennett, the man the world knows as King Von. He grew up in Parkway Gardens on Chicago's South Side, known to everyone as O Block, one of the most dangerous communities in one of the most violent cities in America. Taysa was a young mother raising her children there, navigating poverty and violence that most people watching this could not fathom. She kept her family together in conditions that pull families apart, and Von felt that. He talked openly about wanting to change his mother's life, about getting her out of that environment permanently. That wasn't rapper talk, he meant it. On November 6, 2020, King Von was shot and killed outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta. Police said the gun battle happened across 3 different spots near Trinity Avenue, with 6 people shot total and 3 killed, Von among them. He was 26 years old. In an instant, everything changed, and Taysa didn't have the luxury of disappearing into her grief. She had an estate to manage, a catalog to oversee, and a public watching to see what would happen next. Here's the part that genuinely stops people when they understand it fully. When King Von passed, his catalog didn't lose value. It grew. That's something a lot of people don't realize about the music industry. When an artist with real cultural weight dies, demand for their music often increases. The streams keep coming, the placements keep coming, the licensing keeps coming. Taysa inherited Von's masters, the original recordings themselves. Owning the masters means owning the source material. Every time a Von song streams on Spotify, plays on the radio, gets licensed for a show or a film, the person who owns those masters gets paid. That person is his mother. Von made Taysa rich for life. Not comfortable, permanently secure. That was the promise he made while he was alive, that his family would never struggle the way they struggled in O Block. Even after leaving this earth at 26, he kept it. That's beautiful, and it's painful at the same time. Nobody would trade their child for a catalog. Taysa would give every cent back to have her son here. But the fact that his artistry continues taking care of the people he loved most, that's a legacy in the truest sense. And it's worth acknowledging. So when you see Taysa out here living, posting, building a platform, going viral, the foundation underneath all of it is something her son built with his own hands. Now here's the part that broke the internet. For her 50th birthday, Taysa didn't post a quiet dinner photo. She shared pictures of her completely natural body, and the reaction was massive. People couldn't believe she was actually 50. Most guessed early 30s, some pushed it to 38. Alongside the photos, she used her platform to speak directly to women about embracing their natural figures, about confidence without filters or hidden procedures. The message landed. Her birthday content went viral, and the celebration in the comments was real. But the internet is never just one thing. A section of people felt the photos went too far for the mother of a beloved artist, pointing out that Von was openly protective of the women in his life and likely wouldn't have been comfortable with that kind of content circulating. That's a fair conversation to have. Both things exist at once. A 50-year-old woman glowing and living freely, and a son who might have had real opinions about exactly how she chose to do it. Nobody is actually stopping her from making that call for herself. Now let's get into the heaviest part of this story. FBG Duck and his mother LaShawn Weekly, known online as Mama Duck. FBG Duck, real name Carlton Weekly, was a Chicago rapper shot and killed in August 2020 on the Magnificent Mile, in broad daylight captured on camera. One of the most shocking murders in Chicago rap history, just months before Von himself was killed. 2020 took a lot from Chicago. Mama Duck became a public figure in the aftermath, and she has not held back. In a sit-down with No Jumper, she addressed the long-circulating allegation directly, that King Von had put $100,000 on FBG Duck's head, that Von was allegedly behind the hit. Her position, in her own words, they proved it. She said the people allegedly behind the shooting had been telling on themselves for a long time before anything was officially established. That's a serious allegation to put on the record publicly, and it created real tension around Von's name and legacy, putting his fans on the defensive and putting Taysa, the woman holding the estate, in an uncomfortable position. But what gets missed in all the noise is that Mama Duck's tone wasn't purely hostile. She said the deaths of both her son and King Von did nothing but hurt their families. She said she felt betrayed by whoever allegedly shared her son's location. And then she said something that hits completely different: that people losing their lives over a song is unnecessary. She was speaking to how much of the tension between both camps traced back to diss tracks and public callouts, and her position was that none of it was worth what it ultimately cost. That's not beef energy. That's a grieving mother trying to make sense of something that will never fully make sense. The actual deeper conflict moved through the legal system. FBG Duck's family filed a civil lawsuit against King Von's estate, real financial stakes, not just social media back and forth. That's what Taysa has been navigating on top of everything else: legal proceedings involving her son's name and money, while simultaneously grieving, building a platform, and commissioning murals. And that's the part of this story that deserves real respect. Taysa has made it her mission to make sure Da'Von Daquan Bennett isn't forgotten as just a rapper, but as her son. She's been instrumental in commissioning murals of King Von across Chicago, large painted tributes on the walls of the neighborhoods he came from. In Chicago's culture specifically, murals mean something. They say this person was here, this person mattered, we will not let time erase them. She was also a key figure behind Grandson, Von's posthumous album. Posthumous projects are difficult, sorting through unreleased material, making decisions about what the artist would have wanted included, working with producers and executives while fans watch with enormous expectations. Nobody was better positioned to make those calls than the woman who raised him from birth, who knew him before any of the fame. Her involvement made that album exist, giving fans one more chapter of his voice and artistry. She keeps his name in the conversation. She marks his birthdays. She acknowledges the anniversaries. In a culture where attention spans shrink fast, and even massive artists become afterthoughts within a few years, the fact that King Von's legacy is still this present is not an accident. A huge piece of that is Taysa, every single day. So zoom out and look at the whole picture. This is a woman who grew up without resources in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America, who watched her son claw his way to global recognition, who lost him at 26 and had to grieve publicly while managing an estate, navigating a lawsuit, and responding to serious allegations, all while figuring out who she is now that the person she lived to protect is gone. Today she's 50, she doesn't look it, she owns masters generating income for generations, and she's commissioning murals and keeping an album's legacy alive while also building her own voice and her own platform. Is everything she does universally praised? No. Would Von have words for her about some of it? Probably. But Taysa is a complete person, not a mother figure frozen in November 2020. She's a woman with her own choices, and her son made absolutely sure she has the resources to live them out on her own terms, forever. That's his love still working in her life. That's the promise being kept. Drop a comment and let me know. Are you with Taysa's whole journey? Or do you think Von would be pulling up to her page telling her to log off? Subscribe for more.